Welcome on in to 4-1 podcast. I want to say what's up, y'all. How you doing out there tonight? If out there, thank you for joining in. Please go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend. Do whatever you can do to help support the 4-1. I have to say that last night, everybody came through. It was so many people from so many different platforms. We had D Live that was lit up for the first time like no other. First time that I have seen so many people show up on D Live was last night. So I want to say thank you so much to David all the way from London. Thank you for tagging a bunch of people and inviting them in. Thank you to Cindy out there from D Live. I appreciate y'all. Y'all definitely lit everything up last night. And we're going to get into so many other things about last night, but let's get on into the song of the day right now. Sierra. Very special happy birthday to Sierra. I'm not like a huge Sierra fan. A couple songs of hers that I like, but this one is my favorite. Body Party remix featuring Future and B.O.B. It just reminds me of that old school song that I'm drawing a blank right now. I think it's Ghost Town DJs. That's what it is. I like the way they remixed it. So it definitely is giving me that Ghost Town DJs. I believe I got it right. Ghost Town DJs Boo. I think that's what it's called. But I should have done more research on that. But it reminds me of that. They definitely remixed it up and it takes me back to that song. And I like that song too. So it's just, plus the lyrics and what it's about. If you're in love, you got a little thing going on, this definitely is a song. At least it was for me during that time frame. Body Party remix featuring Future and B.O.B. released off of her Sierra album 2013. So let's get back into the conversation about last night. So the Rich Auntie came through and it was just amazing. So I want to say very special thank you to the Rich Auntie. Thank you to people who showed up on D Live. Thank you to Instagram. Instagram people, family was definitely in the building last night. Facebook. It was just a lot going on in all different areas, and we definitely had a great show last night. Very special thank you to the Rich Auntie. And I also want to say very special thank you to Mr. Alex Coquito. Y'all please go ahead and support him and check him out on his YouTube page. I am a part of his show, his creation, Midnight Vibes. Y'all go ahead and check me out on his YouTube channel, Alex Coquito. I want to give a very special thank you to Simply Unique LLC. She has sponsored the show and has given us some wonderful candles and bath salts. So thank you so much, Lakeisha, for that. Y'all go ahead and check out Simply Unique LLC. Author P.L. Stewart, I want to say thank you for coming through. He has his segment on Reading Between the Wines, so please go ahead and watch that replay. Sunshine, Monet L. Again, these are all people who've been on 411 or Reading Between the Lines. Birdman, I'm gonna call you Mr. Twitter Man. It's the reason why you got Birdman as a name, because you definitely do your thing on Twitter. I appreciate you for retweeting and checking me out and supporting on Instagram as well. I appreciate that. Roang, all the way from South Korea. I talk about you every night. I appreciate you for your continuous love and support. I don't know what's going on Instagram, but it's doing some weird stuff, but it's all good. We still, hopefully everything is rocking and rolling in other aspects, but Instagram keep going up and down. Custom Killer Creations, I appreciate you. Thank you for popping in. Joanna Smith, Tone, and Miss Desiree Covington, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on in. Last night was so amazing. Let's go ahead and rewind this thing. So the conversation that I had last night with the rich auntie was, do you have the courage to tell people to just shut it? Get to the point. You talking too much. What is that thing? STFU? Like, do you have the courage to bring that up and tell people, you're doing just a little bit too much. Can you just get right straight to the point? I don't have all this time. I don't have all of this energy to be wasted on you. Like, what's going on? Can you get to the point? What's going on, Miss Bethany? Do you have the courage to tell people? I mean, personally, me, I don't. I don't know why, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. So I kind of sometimes will just endure it, get through it, but that'll be the last time. The rich auntie says she'll cut you off right and say, hey, listen, we got to wrap this up. Get to the point. I can't do this. Or you that type of person that'll cut somebody off midstream. They're sitting there talking, telling you whatever they're going to tell you. Or you that type of person that will cut them off. Me personally, I probably would not cut them off. But I will tell you that you won't get an opportunity to do it again. I'll remember what you've done the first time around. And after we get that, we understand it. And what's the saying? If you know better, you do better. Yeah, we won't do that again. Trust and believe. And I have been nice sometimes, and I let somebody come back, and then they did it again. Fool me once, fool me twice. You know what the saying is? I get it today. Now, speaking of which, people have the right to say what they want to say, right? It's all about freedom of speech. Saying whatever you want to say. But I have a question, because is it really freedom of speech? Because there are so many people who get upset because of what somebody says. And then they got this whole new thing going on, which is cancel culture. So if you don't like what somebody says, you get to just cancel them and block them out and say that it's a wrap. Is it really freedom of speech? And the other thing is, if somebody says something that you don't like, you can't stand it, you don't agree with it, do you get to cancel them if it's that extreme? Or do you just shut them off and change the channel, unfollow them, unsubscribe, whatever you want to call it? Is it really freedom of speech? So many different platforms. I'm not going to name them. It's even happened to us here on the 411 podcast. All of a sudden, we get suspended or we get blocked and we can't say anything. There's that whole thing called shadow banning because of something that comes out of somebody's mouth. Is it really freedom of speech? And do we really have a right to tell somebody that they can and cannot say certain things? I mean, if you don't like what somebody has to say, I just went through some of the things that we can do. Don't talk to them. Number one, don't engage. Change the channel. Turn it off. Unsubscribe. Like, What do you think? What are your thoughts on it? Is it really freedom of speech? And yes, there are some people out there that are going to say some crazy, outlandish things, but there are a bunch of followers and people who will appreciate that type of talk, that type of conversation, and they will engage in so be it. But if that ain't you, then that ain't you. It is what it is. Like, where did we get to this point where all of a sudden, because we don't like what somebody has to say, we decide to cancel them and say something? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get into, you know, bringing everyday stuff with celebrities and stuff like that inside of the 411. That's not what we're here to do. But man, people, interesting. I'm gonna just leave it at that because I don't want to start anything and have somebody trying to cancel what we got going on here. It is what it is. So this is freestyle session. So we're gonna get in real quick, give you a message, and then gonna get out. But before we do that, of course, please go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Head on over to YouTube and hit that thumbs up. I definitely would appreciate that. So we talked so many good things so far, and the week is just getting started. I got Reading Between the Wines tomorrow, so please come back 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to read my book, Volume 1.5, The Liberation Remix Journal. So I'm going to dig deep into that. It's been a minute. I think the last time that I've read anything from that was, January, February. So we're going to come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Reading Between the Wines. And we're going to dig into it. And we're going to go day by day and see exactly where we end up at, see how far we get. Starting with day one with Set Me Free. How many of y'all been set free and realize what a beauty it is when you actually have some freedom, which you've never had before? But we're going to have that conversation tomorrow. So we also talked about, okay, so now this makes sense as we stay on it. We can go back to volume 1.5. When you are set free, right, you realize that you have this freedom. And the reason why your freedom might have been crushed, the reason why your freedom might have been changed is because you went along with the get along. You did exactly what everybody else did. Just because you saw somebody else doing something, you ran and did it. Listen, I've done it. And that's exactly why my freedom, is called an expensive freedom. You got to pay to be free, which is a whole nother situation. But anyway, regardless of the fact it is what it is, we're free. Now that we're free and we understand and we know better, we think a little bit differently. And I'm trying to put it out there and ask you, how many times have you rushed into something that has compromised something in your world? Freedom. You can't go anywhere anymore because you put so much on yourself. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy, and you don't have the money because guess what? You had to do with somebody else. These are the things that we spoke about here. Go ahead and watch those replays and you will get, a little more in-depth conversation on those topics. So have you done some things? Put yourself in situations. The love of this, materialistic things. I have to have what you have. Ooh, those boots are real fly. I know I can't afford them right now, but I'm going to go ahead and spend, a little bit of my rent money to get those boots. Now I'm going to be struggling for the next month until I re-up again. Those are the types of things that some of us have done in the past. Have you done that? We've all done it. But like I said, when you know better, you do better. Once you dig yourself out, once you get back up, make sure that you don't put yourself in those situations again. It's that expensive freedom. Sometimes you got to pay to get back on a clean slate. But once we get there, thankfully, through whatever we went through, we're here. You're going to have to pay one type of way, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritually, sometimes it's mentally. You're going to pay for the things that you put out in this universe, the things that you've taken from this universe. It's that karmic law. What goes around comes around. Ain't nothing in this world free. So you're going to have to pay some way. So we paid our dues. We're here now. The most important thing that I believe is to make sure that you give yourself some credit. Check in with yourself and say, yeah, we've been through so many things, but we are here today. So I'm going to make sure that I give myself some credit. I'm going to pat myself on the back and say that we've made it here. We are here today. We are still press and play. It took a lot to get here today. You understand, you know what it took for you to break free, for you to finally take that step forward and say, I can do this on my own. I thought that I needed you. I thought that I could not live without you. But guess what? We are here surviving. And not just surviving, but we are thriving. You ever come out of a situation and you're like, damn, I wish that I've done that a long time ago. Because look how much better I'm doing now versus then. And it may not even just be materialistic things. A lot of people think that, oh, you got to have a nice house, you got to have a car, you got to have this, you got to have that to prove that you are doing better. How about you might be doing better spiritually? How about you might be doing better physically? Your body is in shape. You are feeling a little bit better about yourself. You understand. You gain some newfound knowledge. Therefore, you won't fall into those same traps again. What's more important? You want to rest up? You want to have everything and be just a mess on the inside? Or would you rather just play it safe, be cool and be humble and embrace and have everything that you're supposed to have, but be just so mentally on point, spiritually on point, knowing how to recognize the bullshit from the truth? So you don't have to go through the same thing over and over again. You don't have to entertain these people from lower worlds. Understand that once you start to vibrate on a higher level, you're able to have those conversations real quick and understand and be able to separate the bullshit real quick. Some of us are not on that level, so we entertain things and it takes us a long time to figure out. You don't need to figure out a month from now. You don't even need to figure out a week from now. I can tell when someone's full of shit just by talking to them within 5 minutes. I'm just saying. Once you start to, back to what I was saying before earlier, when you know better, you do better. This is Freestyle Sessions tonight, man. Thank you all so much. If you are watching this replay, thank you. Please drop it in the comments and let me know. The last Freestyle Sessions that I did, I had great feedback. Somebody's going to get something out of it, one way or the other. And most importantly, the reason why I do the 4-in-1 podcast, which, is therapeutic for me as well. This is my calming effect as well. I spoke about the calming effect, doing things that work well for you. Sharing my story, coming out here podcasting, coming out here being of service to somebody else is a calming effect. For me, it puts me in my peaceful zone. And that's what it's all about. And at any given time that there is something on this show here or any of the other shows that you come across that resonates with you, first of all, I would like you to like it if you can. Comment, share. Thank you so much to the people who've shared the videos over the past couple days. Appreciate that. But you can holla at me. Holla at your boy. text me 609-738-0611 and let me know. You can also DM me on most of my platforms as well. And, we can chop it up and go back and forth that way as well. And you can also text me and say, hey, pull me up on a 411 hotline. And you and I can have this conversation right here, live here. That's what it's about. That's where it all started. And I want to say thank you all so much for joining in and supporting as well. Now comes the time here. So Miss Bethany says payday loans. It must have been about that karmic law that I was speaking about. You can't just take. If you continuously take, and you don't repay, you may not do it personally, but trust and believe you're going to end up repaying one way or the other. You might as well just come clean and start to have some gratitude and repay now. Pass it along now, or it's going to come back and payday. Like Miss Bethany said, payday. Some loans are due. Some bills are due. Better pay it up front. It's like a car that gets repossessed. You know full well that you got to pay that note, but you still rocking, you still riding, you still dodging. Eventually, they're going to catch up to you, and you're going to walk outside, and that car is going to be gone. And in life, you're going to wake up, and it might be payday. We never know what day it is, so that's why you got to come correct. You got to come right. You got to come clean with it. Otherwise, that payday gonna show up one day. Speaking of payday, this is so important. This is that self-talk. So even though that we give ourselves some credit, like I spoke about earlier, and we put ourselves in a happy place, on the flip side of it, sometimes we got to have some real conversations with self, because it can't always be happy. It can't always be great and wonderful. Sometimes there are some hard truths, facts that we have to look at ourselves in a mirror and say, what's real? Or as they say, what's good? One of my favorite things from Steve Harvey, which actually woke me up, was not everybody's going to tell the same lie. Because you can tell yourself a lie real quick, and you can start to believe some of the stuff that you feel. From within, it'll start to pour out, and you'll start to believe whatever you want to believe. That's what they say. It's the power in belief. And it's so true. The power of belief. It's real deep, and it could all of a sudden become reality. A man is what he think. So if you believe it, and you believe it deep rooted, it will become your reality. Now, your reality is not everybody else's reality. So sometimes we have to get with self, and we have to look, and we have to ask ourselves the question, what are some truths about self that you might be holding back? Steve Harvey said not everybody's going to tell the same lie. I had to think about my life, and I was like, damn, this person said this. This person said that. This person said this. All right, now we working on 3 to 4 different situations, and the same issue keeps coming up. Not everybody's going to tell the same lie. So you mean to tell me all of those people are lying on you, and they got the same exact lie? So I had to get with self and be like, all right, where are we going to take some responsibility in this? Why is this happening time and time and time again? So what are some truths about yourself that you might be holding back on? You might not be keeping it real with self. Remember, you probably ain't going to air out your dirty laundry. Ain't nobody really going to do that. But like Steve Harvey said, not everybody's going to tell the same lie. And I've been in some situations, and I've been in some relationships, and I've been in some stuff that had I asked the right questions first, everybody's going to tell the same lie. So you mean to tell me I'm going through exactly what your ex went through and the one before that went through? So now we all lying? We all ain't right? Flip the coin, same situation that somebody can be asking me. If you went through the same thing over and over again from your previous relationship and it trickled into the new one and it keeps trickling into the next one, and if you can think back and think back and think back and think back, not everybody's going to tell the same lie. Why have you put yourself in this type of situation? You have to take some accountability for self. And that's just the bottom line. And I'll share with you what was one of the biggest breaking points for me, biggest eye-opening situations for me, is I had to tell Laren, guess what? You can't control people. That was one of the biggest issues that I faced time and time and time again. When people want to go, let them. I wish I had known this. I mean, I've heard it before. I thought that I knew what was going on, but when I was in the thick of it, it didn't work well. When people want to go, let them. You can't control people. You can't control places. And you damn sure can't control things. What goes up must come down. What goes around will come back around. What are some truths about self? I had an issue of control. I had to be a control freak. I had to know everything. I had to be everything. I was just too much. I was too much, and the people that I was with wasn't enough. That was the problem. And because they weren't enough, I was trying to control them and bring them up and pull them up to my level. And that was incorrect. Should have never happened. That was the big eye opener for me to get it together to where I could, remember I said that expensive freedom, sometimes you got to pay. So today, absolutely not. Mm-mm. We will wait for as long as we have to wait until somebody shows up on the same level as me to where I don't have to do all of that back and forth. And that's just it. We're going to talk about this tomorrow when I do volume 1.5, and we're going to dig deep. And it's going to get tomorrow 8 p.m. That's all I'm saying. Tomorrow 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here, we have Reading Between the Wines coming. The Liberation Experience. I'm basically going to be reading my book, volume 1.5, and digging deep. Talk a little bit about my past. Tell you right where I'm at right here now in my current world. And I'm also speaking some positive affirmations. And I'm also going to touch base as far as when I wrote this book last year versus to where I'm at now, because I spoke these things and I wrote these things before. And then as I continue to practice and as I continue to speak these positive affirmations, I continue to, you know what they say, walk the walk, talk the talk, as I continue to do that and do my self-work. I want to see where I'm at from, last year versus to right where we're at here now. What's going on? A rich auntie, I'm not sure if he's still out there, but we're going to see. And it's a journal. So I open up this journal for you to go ahead and write some positive affirmations about your world as well. And remember, what you have going on in your world that's your world. And it's different from mine. And whatever I see in mine and whatever I have going on here, that's what I have going on. And what you got going on is what you have going on. And nobody should ever be able to tell you what's right and what's wrong and what you should be doing in your world. And that's it. And nobody should be able to tell you what you are, what you aren't going to be, where you're going, where you ain't going to go. That's about control. That's about power. And that's not from a place of love. And like I said before, I understand because I've had worn those shoes before. And then I've worn the other pair of shoes as well. So I've been on both sides of the fence. I understand exactly where it comes from. But today, after we've learned our lesson, you do not get to tell me who I am today. I wish you would think that you're going to say, Laren, you ain't going to do this. You ain't going to do that. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. Somebody told me I was always going to be angry. I was always going to be cussing. I was always going to be fighting. Today, you can't. What's going on, Lash Maverick Essentials? Today, you can't even get me upset, even if you tried. You can't even do it. So now, had I sat there and believed what somebody spoke about me and said about me, I would have been cussing. I would have been fighting. I wouldn't be here podcasting because I'd probably be out in the street somewhere doing something crazy. Somebody told me that I would never love again. That is so far from the truth. Anyway, we're not even getting into that, but so this is what I'm saying. Don't let people tell you and project their ugly off on you. I want to say a very special shout out to my friend, Miss Eugenia McCall from the Bronx, New York. Thank you so much for helping me turn this thing around. She taught me about how people are when they do the 180 on you. They turn their back. And when they do that, most of us want to react. Most of us want to post something. Most of us want to write something. Most of us want to go off. Most of us want to just be ready to go in. But when somebody does the 180 on you, today, for me, the best thing that I could say is thank you. Because you showed me who you really are. Why would I want to waste my time going back and forth with somebody who already just showed me who they are, that they are not worthy of my time and my energy? Now, when we go back and forth, we go against the grain. That's a form of manipulation. You want somebody to lie to you? They already done told you who they are. They showed you who they are. Now you going back and forth with them. Then I'm like, all right, you're right. That's a lie. They're just pacifying you until the next situation happens. And then you're going to do it again. Some of us are sleeping with the enemy and have no idea. Ask me how I know. I've been there before. Several times. Sleeping with the enemy. They lied to you the first time. And you sat there and you manipulated the situation. You twisted around so it sounds good for you. I remember one time I walked out on somebody. The love of my life. At least I thought at the time. I walked out because I realized that I wasn't the only one in the situation. And because I walked out, of course, all of a sudden there was, I won't do it again. And that's all that I wanted to hear was, I won't do it again. But you told me in the beginning when I first met you that this is what the situation was going to be like. See what I'm saying? I won't do it again, but then it happens again. I won't do it again, but then it happens again. It's a form of manipulation, a form of control, and it's a lie. Why would we go back and forth when someone already told us? Why would we? I'm going to leave you with this real quick. The minute that you go back and forth and you hold on to a situation, that's when the quicksand starts to activate. And the more that you keep going back and forth, playing this game of manipulation, having this control factor, you're slowly but surely sinking into quicksand. Meanwhile, the rest of the world, the rest of the situations, the rest of the interactions that you probably should have been interacting with had you left that person, or just buying and flowing and flowing and flowing, and you're still stuck in this same spot holding on to this thing and this person that was dead a long time ago. As soon as they told you to lie the first time, as soon as you discovered out who they were the first time, the quicksand started to activate immediately and you're stuck. The rest of the world is still moving on. That person that you were supposed to interact with is still moving on and probably moved on and found somebody else because you stayed stuck. Some of us stay stuck and some of us kill ourselves because we get drowned in quicksand, head covered up. Thankfully, some of us, we just got our hands sticking out. And it takes a loved one, it takes a friend, it takes somebody to pull you up out of it and get you together. And if you're right in your mind, you'll be able to move forward and get your life together and get all that sand off of you and dust yourself off and move on with things and be thankful that you had a friend to pull you out. Then on the other side, what's going on, honestly, vegan? We get friends, we get family members that pull us out. And instead of dusting ourselves off, or the minute that we get the last grain of sand off of us, we go run back and we jump into it again because we just can't live without this person. Ultimately, somebody eventually is going to be like, you know what? I done tried to help you 1,000 times and I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to let you kill yourself and let you drown in whatever BS you got going on. The minute that somebody tells you who they are, you should believe them, and you need to start the process of removing yourself from the situation. Or deal with it. Deal with it and understand and know that that's who they are, and don't try to change them, because the minute that you try to change them, the quicksand gets activated because that is not what is intended to be. We are not supposed to be trying to control people and change people. You can stay there and you can accept them who they are and bear with it and deal with it and go with the flow. But the minute you try to go ahead and try to change something or manipulate it or make it work in your favor, this person was put here on this earth to be who they are. We're going to get into this tomorrow. It is what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes people are put into your life for a reason. The evil manipulators, the backbiters, the evil spirited people, sometimes they are put in your world for a reason to test you to see if you got your game on point. Did you do your homework? Did you study up? Are you suited up? Are you ready to go? Now, God has put this person in your life or allowed certain things to happen, and now you're going to sit here and try to manipulate and change and go against what he put into play. Makes no sense. You stay stuck. You going against the grain. You going against what the Creator has put in place to help move you. You'll be stuck. Trust and believe. Lash Maverick Essential says some people just don't want to start over because they invested a lot of time. So true. I've been there before. I thought, oh, I done. You know what my biggest thing was? After all the things that I've done to you, all of this time that I have put into this situation, you gonna do me like that? Yes, I'm going to do you like that. I wish that I could speak on their behalf. Yes, I'm going to do you like this. You want to know why I'm going to do you like this? Because I have been sent here to be whoever I am. And once you get over me, once you look past me, you see that beautiful thing waiting behind me. Like, I wish that it worked that way, right? But it doesn't. But that's how you have to start thinking about it. As long as you're doing your part and you ain't out here coming from a place that's ill will and you coming from a place of love and you pouring that out in the universe, trust and believe that it's going to come back full circle. Sometimes we are tested and certain things happen to see if we can handle the next big thing. You can't handle the person that's cheating on you and lying right to your face. How you going to handle something else? Simple. It's right there. Right there. The facts. They done showed you and they done told you who they are. You're better than that. You got to see past that. That person that's waiting for you needs you to be a little bit more smarter than that because they're on a whole nother vibrational level. I hate to talk like that, but if you just allowing people to dog you out and do things like that, you're on a lower level. You're on a lower world. As my friend would say, you are living in a lower world. That person is smarter than that. That's waiting for you. They are leveled up. They're not sitting there amongst the type of nonsense that you are allowing to go on in your world. So you got to climb up, you got to dig up, you got to dig out so you can get to the next best thing. And once you learn, like I said, once you know better, you do better, and you won't even have time to entertain that stuff, man. That listen, I can tell. Sometimes I can tell just by looking at people. Like, no, we can't go down there. I don't care how good somebody look. We can't. Mm-mm. Something's not right. You get that vibe. You get that feeling. Something's not right. Everything that look good ain't always good for you. But we going in too much tonight, man. We gonna get out of here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Reading Between the Wines. I am reading my book, Volume 1.5, Deliberation Remix Journal. We gonna go in tomorrow. We gonna continue this conversation. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my past with a smile on my face. I used to think about my past before and be so upset and so embarrassed and so ashamed. Not today. I think back, oof, I'll just be like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much for delivering me from that bullshit. Thank you so much. Uh, it's over. It's a wrap. Anyway, we getting out of here tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, I cannot do this without my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me to come out here and give you all the 4-in-1 podcast one more time in life. This is an amazing journey, and I'm so thankful that I have great friends, great people like you that continuously support time and time again. Honestly Vegan, Lash, Maverick Essentials. We had the Rich Auntie out there, Bethany Trent out there. Again, anybody out there on Facebook, I want to say thank you so much. We're going to continue this tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go in tomorrow. Trust and believe we're going to have a great show tomorrow. We all have a past, but today we are amazing. Absolutely. And when you learn something from the past, so y'all are going to keep me on there. When you learn something from the past, we have an obligation to try to help those that are close to us to make sure that they don't go through some of the same things that we've been through. That's giving back as well. Sometimes people think giving back is always, I got to go ahead and buy something. I got to go ahead and spend something. I got to go ahead and broadcast and show that I'm doing something. The knowledge that you get when you put your work in and you do what you're supposed to do and you connect to your creator, sometimes it's about giving back, helping the next man so that they don't make the same mistakes that you make. Wow. I don't even know how this happens, but it happens. One of the main reasons I continue to keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you all so much. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, reading Between the Wines, the Deliberation Experience. We're going to read Volume 1.5, Deliberation Remix Journal tomorrow night. Thank you so much. Take care, and you'll have a good night.